Legally, you can work 20 hours per week during the semester, and during the semester break, you can work full time, like 40 hours per week. It's totally up to you. Apart from that, you can also work as a student assistant or research assistant, that we call as mini job, along with your working student. So that will not be counted in the 20 hours. So if you want to earn some extra bucks, you can just do a couple of more jobs as like student assistant and research assistant in your university, and you can easily earn.
Hello all, this is Damini, co-founder of WeMakeScholars. I welcome you to yet another episode of our web series Discover Study Abroad. Today I have Sramana Das here with me, who went to Technical University of Munich for her masters. TUM is one of the top technical universities in the world, ranking way better than IITs as well. So I'm going to ask Sramana, how did she manage to get in there? What were the highlights of her profile? And also we'll talk briefly about the German language requirement for getting a full-time or a part-time job, and also the average wages. So let's start this session. So Sramana, thanks a lot for taking time on a weekend and joining us for this call. I'm sure it is going to be really informative for my viewers to hear from you, because you have studied at one of the top universities, and the introduction I've already given them. So can you quickly introduce yourself for my viewers?
Yeah. Sure, thank you. Thanks, Damini, for your lovely words. By the way, my name is Sramana, you already know. I am from Tripura, that is in the northeastern part of India. I did my graduation in electrical engineering from KIT University, which is in Bhubaneswar, back in 2016. And after that, I worked for almost 3 years in India as an application developer with BNY Mellon and TIA GBS. And then I came to Germany to pursue my master's from TUM. I did it in Masters in Management. And yes, now it's been almost 2.5 years I'm in Germany, and right now I'm working in as a assistant vice president in one of the biggest German bank. So that's pretty much about me. Apart from that, I'm also a content creator, creating content on Instagram and LinkedIn regarding higher education and careers abroad. So that's pretty much about me. Thank you.
Okay. Got it. So, Sramana, as you mentioned, your profile is, whatever I could get to hear. I think you had a brilliant track record. Maybe that's why, you could get into TUM. But I'm sure I would like to hear from you, because TUM is one of the top universities in Germany and, in fact, in Europe. So I'm sure your profile would have stood out of, thousands and 10,000s of applications they would have received. So I want to know, basic highlights of the admission process, because a lot of students do target that institute. And what do you think in your profile, stood out that, made them choose you over, thousands of other applications which they had?
Mm-hmm. So basically in TUM also the admission criteria will vary from course to course. So I applied to 4 different courses in TUM, and out of which I got into 3 and 1 I got rejected. So I think what stood out for me is definitely the grade. My grade was good. It was 1.8 German GPA, that is I think around 86% Indian percentage if I say. And apart from that, I was also having work experience of almost 3.5 years, so that was also a plus. Apart from that, nothing very fancy, honestly. Like, I was never into a lot of extra co-curricular activities or publishing papers or stuff, but but I am talking about the time back in 2019, and after the COVID, I mean, if we talk about India, the marks, the competition has raised a lot. So definitely grade will be a big factor if you want to come to Germany to pursue into public university, especially if it's TU9. Then please do consider having grades at least more than 80%. Apart from that, if you have published paper, if you have work experience, if you have a strong letter of motivation, then definitely it will be a plus.
Okay. So your work experience, Sramana, what you had in India of 3.5 years, was that related to the course which you actually went for?
No, not honestly. It was not too much related, because I was working there as an application developer, and I went to a course more into Masters in Management. But the course I went into, the eligibility requirement doesn't have this criteria that you must have a work experience. Even Masters in Management is designed for those who are freshers. So for masters in management, the course criteria was like that you must be from engineering background or natural science background. Apart from that, you must have good grades. So better your grades, more points you will get. So that was one plus I have. Second was ranking certificate. So I was the top 25% of the students in my university. So if you could provide that certificate to the to TUM, so you will get some points. Apart from that, there was a strong letter of motivation as well. So there was a first stage and second stage of assessment during my time. So I got into first stage only because of whole soul because of good grades. But right now the things has been changed, at least for Indians. For Indians now it's mandatory to have a GMAT of at least 620. There is no such criteria of ranking certificate for the admission in TUM MIM program. So you must have good grades, a good GMAT of at least 620 or more than that. And yeah, if you clear the cutoff, you will get into MIM program. But yes, this is only for MIM. But it will depend on the course to course. If you will go to the other course like sustainable resource management or maybe any engineering course, it will vary.
Okay. Got it. So Sramana, when we were discussing, before this call, you mentioned that, this course particularly was the only taught in English course related to, the area which you were looking at. So, my question is, even though the courses which are specified as taught in English, because, when students are applying, Indian students specifically look for those courses, right? But then, even for such a course, do you actually need an advanced level German skills? Because, you also have to collaborate with other students on projects, and you also have to have interaction with your probably peers and things like that. So do you recommend people to still have like an advanced level German certification when they come for a taught in English course?
So look, learning German is a different angle of thought. But if it's about English speaking program, no, you don't need German, because the peers or the colleagues who will be studying with you, everybody will know English and everything will be in English. Your projects, your assignments, your group discussions, business games, and the whole course, the whole curriculum will be in English. So yes, for that you don't need German at all. But yeah, you are staying in a country whose main language is Deutsch. So it's good to learn German. Maybe there are much more job opportunities if you know German. But it's not like that. It's impossible to get a job or to survive in Germany without knowing German. Like, it's been 2.5 years for me now. I don't know German at all, and it's totally fine for me. So I think it will be fine for you as well.
Okay. Awesome. So I think that's probably a very relieving statement for a lot of, people who are watching this, because I have seen people, finding it very hard to, go for those certifications and clearing it, even though, TUs, like the technical universities, do offer a lot of taught in English program to have like a very diverse global crowd, right?
Correct.
So, okay. Yeah. So, Sramana, did you had a part-time job while you were studying?
Mm-hmm. So I got my first part-time job, we call it as working student, from India itself. So I started looking for job when I was in India. So once I got the acceptance letter and I was waiting for my visa, I started applying for jobs. And we all know that the COVID happens in 2020, and I started my first semester from India. So, and I went to Germany in 2021 March. So I started looking for jobs around from December 2020, and I got my first working student from on February itself. So when I was in India, so I went to on March and I joined that company in April. So that is how I got my first working student, and it's like for 1 year I did that. It's in a payment domain company. I worked as a Jira and conference admin there, and it was a huge and very, very good and enriching experience. I worked with a team of full of Germans who used to speak German before, but they just switched to English because I was the only English speaking colleague in the team. And yeah, it was great. And I also got my first full-time job in the same company as well. So yeah, I did it.
Awesome. So this part-time job, actually, how many hours were you allowed to do while pursuing your course?
Yeah, so legally you can work 20 hours per week during the semester, and during the semester break you can work full time, like 40 hours per week. It's totally up to you. Apart from that, you can also work as a student assistant or research assistant, that we call as mini job, along with your working student. So that will not be counted in the 20 hours. So if you want to earn some extra bucks, you can just do a couple of more jobs as like student assistant and research assistant in your university, and you can easily earn like 500 euros more. And the basic wage is around 13 euro per hour. Like at least this was what in 2020. I'm not sure if it's increased, but I don't think it's increased. It's 13 euro, but you can easily get like 17-18 euro, and some of my friends also are getting like 20-21 euros per hour. But yes, that's what you can do.
Okay. So, Shramana, your answers and the information is so detailed. I'm sure people, who are watching this are gonna, love it that, they're getting all the answers right from, how many hours you can work, how much you can earn, and they can straight away do the maths to, even have a very realistic expectation of what they would eventually make to survive, right? So, great. So, Shramana, my next question to you is, you studied at TUM, which is one of the top technical universities globally. We in India, we talk about IITs and everything, but, TUM's rank, even above that. So, how was the whole experience of, studying at one of the top technical universities in the world?
The experience is enriching. I think one of the best decisions I have taken ever in my life going to TUs, because not only because of their academics, that is definitely obviously a part, but apart from that, the overall experience, the overall knowledge they provide, the overall support they provide. If we talk about entrepreneurial support, TUs like support hugely to the students who wants to go for entrepreneurship, or if they want to do their thesis in entrepreneurship. If if a student wants to build their own startup, from the nascent stage, a mentor will be assigned to him or her free of cost, and also like free working space and fundings. So what you want, you will get it. And in the very nascent stage, if you are doing a mistake, there is a person who will be rectifying you, as well as apart from that, we also had like entrepreneurship classes and stuff, even if you are not interested in entrepreneurial journey. Apart from that, but you will be doing it. And also like there were a lot of events that happen, like TUM speaker series. It's one of the Germany's famous event that happens in TUM. Like I think just few days back it happened again, and the CEO of OpenAI came to give their speech. And apart from that, the professors they are so friendly, and they're going to share their knowledge, and it will be like not a boring lecture. You would love to go to your university, and overall I think it's an enriching experience. I think I grew as a person a lot. So yeah, that's what my experience is.
Yeah, so I think it sounds so fancy, and even I'm feeling that okay, probably I should go to study at a TUM right now. So, but yeah, I think Sramana, you have worked hard to be there. So I think that's what I think it's very inspiring, as you mentioned. You did your schooling from Tripura, and then you started in Bhubaneswar, and then you were in top 25%, as you mentioned, and then you worked and went to Germany and got into one of the top. I think it's like a very inspiring story, if I put it into the points. So thank you so much for sharing all of it with us, and I encourage my viewers to follow you on Instagram, because you create wonderful content on Instagram with respect to studying in Germany.
Thank you.
So, lastly, before we wrap this session, are there any tips you would like to give it to people who are watching us today with respect to those who are aspiring to study in Germany?
Yeah, surely. So if you are planning to study in Germany, plan early, at least 7 to 8 months back. Start researching about the universities. Do not count on anybody. Like, do not count on the educational consultancies or stuff, because you will be the best advisor for yourself. Nobody can think for you in a better way that you can do for yourself. So just start researching, and you will be fine. You can just easily get into them. give attention to the details, especially to the application forms, or else your application will straight go to rejection. And I have seen that a lot. So yes, and maybe third, if you already get admission, then focus on your studies. I'm not saying that just study 24 hours, but yes, at least it won't be like a last night study. It will not work like that. And TUMs or in any public universities, you need to study every day for at least 2 to 3 hours, and you will be good to go and just enjoy your life when you will be in Germany. I think it's one of the precious moment. If it's gone, it's gone. So yeah, that's all.
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much for sharing those final last tips with us. And thanks once again for taking our time on a weekend and joining us. If there are any questions, viewers, please put it in the comments, and Sramana and I will try to answer those questions. And thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Thanks, Damini. Thanks for inviting me, and thanks for all your kind words. And thanks everybody those who are watching. And yeah, that's all.